Okay, so after the show, um, I've mentioned that there's a lot of work to do beforehand. There's also quite a lot of work to do. In fact, there's a lot of work to do after the show as well. And you could have the best setup, you could have had the best days at the stand, and then if you are not prepared to devote as much time and effort into following up the leads as you did in preparing for the show, then the entire event may have been a waste of time. So you need to have a debrief meeting as soon as you can after the show, either that night, on the last night, or first thing the next morning. And at this meeting, you can gather information about how everyone felt the show went, and you can also do the lucky draw and phone the winner while everybody's there, which is quite fun. If possible, the consultant who owns that particular lead should call. Now, I've just realised I haven't mentioned about dividing up leads. I guess everybody probably does this a different way. The way that I did it was if you had actually made proper contact with somebody, chatting to them briefly while they're filling out the form, then you could write your name on that form and it would be yours. That's your lead. If there was nobody written on the form, then those get divided out equally. So I felt it was important that if you'd started talking to someone at a show, that the same person calls them. And I came to this after doing my own research after a show where I'd talked to someone on a stand and I'd filled out the form. The person who called me was not the same person. And I quite liked the lady that I spoke to, so I wasn't very happy that my number had just been given to somebody else and I was called because I wanted to speak to the lady I'd spoken to. So it also means that the people that are working hardest with the people passing will get the most leads, and that's the way it works. But then there'll also be a pool of people that didn't necessarily get spoken to directly that can be just divided out equally. At this meeting as well, remind everybody to send out their email straight away, whether that be the MailChimp thing or however you send emails. It's important that people get this straight away, and it's got some special offer in it that everybody in the group has agreed to. And you also need to think about how you're going to do the phone calls. If you're doing this on your own, then you'll need to think about this yourself. If you're doing it in a group, then you can do some role playing and try and work out what you want to say and how you want to do them. When you've categorized people into HML, high, medium and low, even though the low priority leads are pretty much guaranteed not to give you any business, I actually think that those people are quite handy to practice on. So call them and you're not going to be disappointed with getting a no response, but you will have practiced, so you get a bit better at doing your calls, so that when you're calling the H people, the high priority people, you'll already be quite good at the phone calls. So just remember that you're not going to lose any business by being too quick to follow up, but if you're too slow, you definitely will. And once someone's been contacted by several companies, they're really over it. So, and plus, not only are they over all the phone calls, but they might have actually decided to book or join with one of your competitors anyway. So we don't want that to happen. Okay, so doing the phone calls, we need to handle these quickly. First thing is prioritize the forms, which I've already talked about. Probably as well as you get the high priority people, and within that you can further prioritize them. The people that want to know about the business, they need to be called first. They're actively looking. If you don't get onto them straight away, they're going to be lost to another company. Second priority would be people that want to know about the products. So get onto those people quickly. And then practice doing some role plays. So you can maybe use a script or some bullet points to keep on track. Remember that the survey forms are conversation starters. They're going to help you not talk too much. We need to try and talk about what they are interested in, rather than us just going on at them and pretty much irritating them, actually. I think when you listen to phone calls. When you sign up at different stands and get the phone calls, you'll get a really good idea about what is irritating as opposed to what is actually helpful. So what I thought I might do is just get Cherie to do a quick role play with me, just pretty much the start of a call, just to show you how what we want to do is try and get questioning happening. So you ready, Cherie?
I'm ready.
Let's see how this goes. Now, when we do this, of course, it doesn't sound. I mean, it's different when you do it for real, but maybe this will give you a bit of something to think about. So I would call Cherie, and Cherie would answer, and I'd say, oh, look, Cherie, my name's Anne, and I'm calling from XYZ Company. I actually met you last weekend at the Brisbane Women's Expo, and we were the ones that were showing the beautiful lingerie, and you filled in a survey form then. And I just noticed, I'm just going through the survey forms now, and I noticed that you said you'd like some more information about our products. I'm just wondering if it's a good time now to talk about that.
Yeah, sure, now's good.
Oh, that would be great. Look, honestly, only a couple of minutes, but I was just noticing that you said that you'd seen our products before. Have you been to a party, or did you see them somewhere else?
No, I went to a party. What was it? Ages and ages ago now.
Okay. Were you a guest, or did you host it yourself?
No, I went with my friend. She took me.
Oh, okay. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I loved it. And I've sort of been half looking, keeping an eye out for a consultant, because I know that lady has stopped doing it, and I've just sort of been keeping my eyes open, really.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fantastic that you dropped by our stand then. Did you manage to pick up a brochure at all from the stand? Because we've got quite a lot of new products that you might not have seen before.
Yes, I did. Yeah, it looks really good.
Okay. All right. So let's just stop it there. That's kind of a start of a phone call, and you can see that what we've tried to do is just ask questions. I haven't just started talking all about my company and everything. Now, at the beginning of the call, I think it's a good idea to try and think of a way that you can be memorable. Like maybe you could have had a funny pen. So just now I said we were selling the lingerie, and that's not particularly memorable if there's 20 other companies selling lingerie. But maybe you had a special pen that might help spark her memory, or maybe you had special shaped candy that you were giving out. Some funny shaped helium balloon. It's just something that's going to make you stand out. And if you think of anything, type it in, because other people could possibly give some good ideas about things to stand out at the form. So the way that I like to start all of those questions was, I noticed on the survey form you said, I noticed on the survey form you said you'd like to have some more information about what's involved in XYZ as a business, and then have a little chat about that, and then you can ask her something like, are you looking for something part-time or full-time? Have a chat about that. What are you doing at the moment? So you're asking questions. You're not just running into a massive spiel about everything. So it is important that you deal with the calls that way. I've found that way you can make a connection, and you're much more likely to end up with a good result, as opposed to the way that a lot of people do calls, which is just to start talking.